I don't know if I'm getting
Okay,
the
guys,
video
we're
or
gonna
not.
get ready to start again.
All right, well, let's let it run.
The next topic is the importance of running candidates. And I think it's Jake? Oh, no, it's Brett. Sorry.
Thank you. So, gather up. I want to put some, encourage us to put some thoughts out to the people of Corpus Christi right now, who are, and surrounding area, who are suffering the ravages of the hurricane. And just send some good thoughts their way.
Ravages of global warming.
Absolutely. So I'm very honored to be up here, and that our next governor, Connie Goodell Newton, has asked me to be the running mate. I'm thrilled and looking forward to the journey ahead. Through a life of public and community service, I've learned that seemingly insurmountable conflicts based on polarized, deeply ingrained patterns of thinking can in fact be resolved if we always remember our common humanity. Like it or not, politics touches on virtually every aspect of our lives. Politics, especially electoral politics, can be a messy business. There's no surprise there. But here's where we need to be concerned. When it comes time to vote in Ohio, nearly 60% of people opt out, leaving our future to be decided by slightly more than half of the remaining 40% who do turn out, a mere 20% or maybe 21% of registered voters. This outcome does not reflect well on the state of our democracy, yet it is made inevitable by this binary lesser of two evils proposition that we call the two-party system. Living within the grip of a corporate-funded and corporate-owned political duopoly, we know all too well why people are tuning out and turning away from all things political. Simply put, we are getting tired of the spectacle. We are tired of being manipulated and pitted against each other. We are fed up with false promises and empty ideologies. And we are done with not having our voices heard. My friends, I submit to you that the decision to run for office as a Green Party candidate in this present context is a decision to say enough. Enough of partisan warfare, enough with retail, money-driven politics, enough with deal-making, divisiveness, and broken promises. We can not choose the times in which we live. We can only choose how we respond to the calling of the moment. Today, at this moment, both our ancestors and our descendants are calling to us. Can you hear their voices? The vast global experiment has run its course, and its legacy of toxic residue, contaminated waterways, blighted neighborhoods, and broken people is now coming home to roost. The future is now. We are beginning to suffer from the consequences of a chronic disease called neoliberal global capitalism that leaves no one untouched, and that will get only worse if we fail to act now. We have a narrow window of opportunity to orchestrate a nonviolent revolution, and that revolution can only succeed if we are willing to question our long-held assumptions, speak in our authentic voices, focus on values and solutions, and act with firm resolve that we will stand together and never let go of our shared vision of a better, more humane, sustainable future. If you support this cause, and I know you do, and if you ever have considered the option of taking your activism into the public sphere and running for municipal, county level, legislative, or statewide office, I urge you to seize the opportunity to step up into that leadership role and know that you will be supported as part of a unified, people-driven effort to take back our state and our country. Thank you. As Greens, the most common question we encounter is, why do we need a third party? Isn't it just going to split the vote and lead to rule by the minority, rule by the 1%? I say quite the opposite. We already are being ruled by the minority. And yes, we absolutely need a third party and a third choice if we are to have any real choice. Let me explain why. First, we know that both the major parties and their candidates receive millions in corporate campaign finance, making it virtually impossible to enact reforms that might run contrary to the pecuniary interests of their corporate patrons. Even so, partisans will insult our intelligence by telling us that we are being purists or unrealistic just because we believe such a lack of integrity and bowing to patronage should be a disqualifying factor for any candidate who purports to represent the interests of the people. Yeah. Don't believe them. When they call us spoilers, what they call spoiler, we call it timely intervention to save our democracy. We know that appeals to party loyalty can be powerful, but that such appeals can and indeed have led to a new form of exploitation, with politicians choosing their voters rather than the other way around. Yet we must admit, when we put partisanship aside, as we really should, and that's what I like about the Green parties, we go light on the party label, and we find that there are still nuggets of truth in both Republican and Democratic messages. Republicans appeal to our dignity. They say, let's be optimistic about the resolve, character, and abilities of everyday people, the ability of people to solve their own problems. Certainly there is some truth to this. The Democrats appeal to our empathy and sense of fairness. They say people who work hard deserve a fair chance to better themselves, but to do this, they need a public partner to create equal opportunity, lifting up the least of us so that we may all become stronger together. There's no doubt some truth to this also. But now I must ask, if both sides have some resonance of truth, why must we continue to be afflicted with this partisan gridlock? Why can't we arrive at an agreement to both trust and invest in people? How is it that Republicans claim to have faith in individual initiative, but deeply distrust people acting through collective effort? How is it that Democrats can speak of working together for the common good, but persist in vilifying people whose notion of common sense does not align with their own? Why the disconnect? Why, when both parties appeal to shared values, do they seem to succeed only at further dividing our society? Friends, I submit that in the cynical world of the two-party system, such lofty-sounding appeals have become just another means to an end, a way to perpetuate ideological thinking that hooks us by telling us only what we want to hear, a way to win votes by serving up the overall truth pie in half portions, half to the Republicans and half to the Democrats. As long as we remain divided, as long as we allow ideology to dominate our political discourse, as long as we allow politicians and media to reduce all of reality to a simple equation of either or, black or white, big government or big business, or no government, unless we break out and break free from this way of thinking, we will remain stuck within a polarized, partisan death struggle that makes real progress impossible. So why do we need a third party? Well, let me offer a simple answer to this complex question. We need a third choice because every time we vote the party line, we are voting for the very system that keeps us divided. The very system that maintains established power structures while suppressing grassroots movements for change, where real solutions are at hand. The persistent and cynical belief that we have no real choice is precisely that factor that keeps this dysfunctional two-party system in place. Simply put, we need a third-party choice because we have seen this movie before. It all resolves to that part of the story where we walk into the voting booth convinced that the candidate we prefer is not electable. And so we vote strategically for the one of two perceived electable candidates that is the least scary. When we do this, we hand power back to the corporate political establishment, and we relinquish our claim to the real systemic changes that are so badly needed in this time of global peril. Like my running mate, Constance, who you will hear from shortly, I am running for statewide office because I care deeply about the people and natural heritage of this beautiful state. And I'm deeply concerned that our present opportunities are being, to secure healthy, sustainable livelihoods and a better future for all are being squandered. I'm confident that as a team, we bring to the table the kind of experience, temperament, vision, and integrity that is needed in the governor's office at this time in our state's history. As fellow citizens who aspire to build electoral strength and to win the state's highest office for all our people, we are eager to have this conversation with all of you, a conversation that leads to real solutions. As fellow citizens who aspire to, we aim to assume the generational responsibility to change the equation that adds up to zero, to move from scarcity to abundance as our basic framework for statewide administration and a political economy based on collaboration and sharing of true value. So now how? How is this possible? How can we accomplish this without large war chests and with a volunteer-driven campaign? It is possible because our cause is that of the people united. We are the difference that makes a difference. Because we are committed to focusing on values, and solutions. Values and solutions. Well-articulated values that guide us towards a common ground based in deep ecological and culturally informed wisdom. Practical and well-vetted, well-informed solutions that reflect the best thinking and hard-won experience of all of us. We will draw upon our common understandings of the ways of love that emerge from diverse faith traditions, as well as a profound sense of nature-inspired awe that marks the scientific endeavor at its best. We will speak to our common destiny as human beings on this living planet. As Greens, we value peace and nonviolent change. We value inclusive and participatory democracy. We value social and economic justice, and we value responsible environmental stewardship. We know that we will succeed because we are firmly committed to these core values, and we are ready to step up, step back, and listen to each other and to how each other speaks to these basic human values so that we can find that elusive common ground. But we also know that values are nothing if they are not put into practice. So are we ready to act?
Yeah.
Are we ready to lead?
Yeah.
Because this we know. Most people agree that we need universal single-payer health care. Most people agree we need student debt relief across the board and tuition-free education as a basic investment in today's emerging workforce and in the problems and in order to support the problem solvers of tomorrow. Most people agree we need to get money out of politics. Okay? Not as a future promise, but in how we run the campaign right from the start. And we need to transition to clean, renewable energy. Most people agree on that. Most people agree we need to fundamentally rethink our social welfare and criminal justice systems, which perpetuate cycles of dependency, racial injustice, and criminalization of poverty. We invite you to join with our campaign, Constance for Ohio, as we work to reclaim and revitalize our democracy, a healthy, well-informed democracy. One that recognizes the difference between scientific fact and ideological BS. We intend to fight voter suppression and inspire voter turnout, institute a proportional and instant runoff voting system in Ohio so you never have to vote for the lesser two evils. We intend to institute and target partnership-based public investment to improve media literacy and critical thinking skills at all levels within our education system so that we have an educated democracy. We intend to defend local home rule against misuse by state preemption laws, supporting community self-determination in matters of green infrastructure, sustainable resource management, economic development, as well as sanctuary city designation. We intend to rebuild our social infrastructure, engaging with asset-based community action research and multi-stakeholder dialogue processes to significantly expand the range of opportunities for direct and meaningful citizen engagement in the life of their communities. Democracy is not just happening in the voting booth or signing a petition. Democracy should be an everyday part of our community life. We intend to eliminate extreme wealth inequality, and we're going to run on that. The issue of wealth inequality. Nobody's talking about it. We're going to get the root causes here. Be a truly progressive tax code that ends the current reverse Robin Hood policies that operate to transfer unearned wealth to the richest Ohioans. We intend to increase transparency in our corporate laws, to end money laundering, real estate scams and predatory financial and business practices of all kinds. We're going to establish public banks, community land trusts, and local business incubators and training programs for employee-owned enterprises. We should own the results of our labor. And we intend to redirect public funds to secure living wage employment. Living wage